Hello everybody and welcome. In this video, we're going to take a look at how you can highlight an entire row based off of a condition. We'll be using conditional formatting in order to get these rules to work. I wanted to kind of quickly go through how to do that. I'll show a couple of the common errors that happen and go from there. This is one of the more highly asked questions about conditional formatting, just because it's not as easy as it would be in Excel, where you can kind of say, do the entire row, and then it happens. In this example, we're going to start by, let's say that you complete a task and you click a button. When you click this, which then turns from false to true, we want that row to be highlighted a specific color, letting you know that task is completed. First, highlight your entire table. You can do that and drag down, or simply do Control A to do the entire data set. Then you're going to go to Format and then Conditional Formatting. On default, it is just the is not empty. So you can see here, these are all the values that are not empty. You're going to switch it down to Custom Formula. And this is where we're going to build conditional formatting rule. We are looking at the B column, and we want to say, if it's true, highlight everything. If you do something like equals B2 equals true, it's only going to highlight that one cell. While this is partially what we are going to do, is instead of just B2, you actually need to use $, and this locks in only looking at B2. It'll still go through and say if B2 is true, highlight this range in B2. If B3 is true, then there, and so on and so forth. So since this one is true, it's going to highlight everything in that row. So now you can test this and you can see those are there. Now you might want to, for it to be complete, a little bit darker. I'm just going to go ahead and do something like this, right in the middle there. So it'll kind of show when it's completed, kind of grays it out. There, I'm going to push done. So now you can see we have these that are going by a condition. Now you might want other conditions as well in the same sort of format. So let's add another rule. And let's say that we want to highlight all of these if the date is less than today. You can still do this. What you need to change is instead of B2, go to C2. And instead of true, we would want something like if C2 is less than today. Now you can see that all of those are going to be there. Now maybe we want this to kind of show it up a little bit more in this like reddish color. Maybe this one. Do that so we can see the stars. You know, it's up to you. I'm going to push done. And notice here that the ones that I've actually checked off already are complete. And that's because this rule is on the top. If I switch it over to here, all of these are going to be past tasks regardless of it. So this could be a helpful thing to add if you want the entire ones that you've, haven't completed yet and are past due to kind of show up in a different color. Now, let's say that we want another one, like highlight which ones are from today. You can add another rule, and you can either build that, or once when you have this, I like to go into it and then push add another rule, because this rule will just get copied over. That just makes it a little bit easier to adjust. Let's say that we want C, and we want it to equal today. Then we could have this color be this sort of blue to signal this is where the day today is. And you might even want this over everything. Again, maybe you want it underneath this one so that once when you've completed it, you have it, just to show this is today's tasks. These are the ones that are past due, and then green is always showing if it is selected. Maybe you want something to show if the priority level is, equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You can see if you have 1 star, it will equal 1. This is a type of smart chip. 3 is going to be 3, 5 is that, and then if it's none of them, it's blank. So you could add another rule for these ones. Now let's just do this one, E2 to E. What would be nice to be able to do is a color scale. And while you can do a color scale with this, it will not actually apply to all of them, unfortunately. The way to get a color scale to go across the entire thing would be creating something like our other rules. So let me just copy this one. Instead of B2 In true, we would want this to equal 1, and this should be E. Choose a color, like maybe priority 1 has kind of this light yellow color. Maybe the text is black, just to show, hey, this is a level 1 priority. And then as you change them, it's level 1. Then you could switch it to level 2, then make this a little darker. So then if you switch this over to level 2, you can see that that gets, and then continue this with level 3 and 4. Make it a little darker. This one to be level 5. There you go. And then you can see how this would change the color scale based off of how important that task is. Again, it is up to you on how you want to do it. I think if you have a lot of things like this, it might get a little bit too messy for the colors to get this color scale for the entire row. Again, it takes a little bit, and it works for this like 0 through 5. If you have numbers like between 1 and 100, this isn't really a good solution for that. I want to go ahead and take a look at another one here. I have a lot of rules that I've made, so I'm going to just go ahead and remove this color scale one. And now I want to look at some common mistakes that happen. Here you can see that I have the range and this true. Now the biggest mistakes that we see would be just doing something like this, if B2 equals true. And what that means is anytime you see this true in this range, it's going to be there. So if I put true here, you can see that that's going to turn this color too. It's because it's not conditionally formatting by row, it's doing that. So if you need to make sure that you have this $sign. Another common mistake that I've seen is where the range you're applying to doesn't match the first format rule cell. What I mean by that is that B2 is starting right here. That's also where my range starts. Let's say that you switch this to B to F and I keep the same rule. You can see here that it's actually 1 off. If I click here, it's going to go 1 up there. And that's because it is saying in B column, starting right here in B1, if B2 equals true, then do the one above it. So that's where these are mismatched. Thus, the conditional formatting rules are going to be 1 off. Similarly, if I put this to 3, now it's going to jump up 2 cells. So if I click here, 1, 2 cells here. And that's again because this formatting rule is on B3 and formatting B1 first. So if you're doing this in that, you have to make sure the first cell of your apply to range matches the same first cell in your condition. So if it's B to F, then you would want to start at B1, and then it will all continue to work. And either one works. Typically, you would want to do it where the data actually might change there. For example, if this ends up being a true, you would get it up in this area. You might not want your header row to have that conditional formatting rule applied to it. Now, maybe you also want this to just be the entire row itself. Instead of starting at B3, you could just do 3 to 100. And you can see there, everything stays the same, and this is going there. Now, it does automatically change it to A3 to the AA, but you can see here that it doesn't make a difference as long as this first row referenced is the same as your formatting rule reference. And that would just continue on there. Again, if you wanted to, you can highlight one, control, and then that backslash. And you can see that actually removes it there. What's going on with this one is it actually changes it into the conditional formatting goes from here to here, and then it stops at H. And that is another common mistake that I've seen people make. Let's say they have some information here, they copy it, and then they paste it over somewhere else, like here or here. You can now see that the conditional formatting rule, if you hover over, shows those two cells in H. So H8 and H12 are now in that conditional formatting rule at the end there. So sometimes if you see a conditional range that you thought was going to be isn't working, it could be that. Similarly, if you take a cell like that and then you paste it someplace else, like here, and then you go to true, you can see here that it now no longer has that rule to it. And now this rule gets even more complex and it is losing this rule here. So if you're copying and pasting data in that have this conditional formatting rule, that formatting rule will get pasted over. If it's one that doesn't have one, it'll get pasted into it. If you are formatting and copying and pasting things, sometimes there might be cells that don't get formatted. So the biggest way to check is you can either look at your conditional formatting rules in the cell or select the cell that you're looking at. And if there isn't that rule, you can see now that I move down, it's missing that rule. And so we need to go back into this and set it up as we want. So I'm just going to clear this entire thing and go back to A3 to 1000. And that will then set up everything from A3 down with every row. That's about all that we're going to do in this highlighting an entire row. Hopefully this helps you get yours set up, as well as some different ways to troubleshoot yours if you have it. Thanks again. Please do those social things. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.